folks, and welcome to ZSR. We have got more NMG action for you all today. Pardon my slow computer as it loads in our lovely racers. Nothing's broken, it's just slow. We have got AceZer versus foxlisk today, and we've got ChecksHuman and ClearMouse here to keep you appraised of all the wonderful things going on. You folks, I will leave it in your competent hands.
Hello. Hi, Chex. How are you doing? Are you excited for this race?
Hi, Clearmouse. Doing well. Very excited for this race.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is. I know, right? So yeah, this is a losers bracket round 8, and nobody knows better the fact that this is round 8. None other than AceZer himself. He has been alive since winners bracket round 1. He has fought all the way here and has been alive. This is his 8th round in brackets. Like, he actually made it really far into winners bracket. I think he played 5 matches or something. I believe you might be familiar, Chex, with the person who knocked him out of winners bracket down to losers bracket. And now here he is facing off against foxlisk today in the 3rd round of, at least for him, in losers bracket.
It was me.
It was you. Oh my gosh. All right. Hopefully there will be no grudges, at least from you, Chefs, for on Ace's side. Foxlisk, though, he is a very talented 125 runner. I think, at least according to Speedrun.com, he recently PB'd to get a 125.06. And he also did very well in groups, had low standing, ended up actually being pretty far out into winners bracket. I think he started round 5 before we really got a chance to play. So this is actually his 4th match coming up. Playing against Ace today. Won against Lynx, and unfortunately lost to Fricker, and then took out Shupal. If you're in the Discord, it's the racer who may not be named because his name apparently never shows up when the bot calls him. But yeah, he's facing off against Ace today.
That's right. So Fox is a great NMG runner, has a low 125. I'm sure we'll see a 124 soon. But Fox does not only exclusively play NMG. He's also all bosses, no EG world record holder.
Oh wow, really? That is very impressive. I believe he also, does he also know some glitch stuff? Because I think I've heard you and Fox commentate at some point for some glitch modes as well.
That's right. Yep. Foxes are very good. All dungeons RMG time. Probably a 110 or 111.
Okay, I'm going to refresh the scene for chat real quick. Hopefully that will fix the audio issue. They are not currently hearing any game audio, so I'm going to see if I can get that fixed.
Well, that's pretty disappointing. But maybe the fact that we're this far out in the tournament, and we've seen our racers go through Escape many a time. Perhaps the natural music of Escape would just play for our audience in our head when we see the scenery.
Okay. So, our runners are running through Escape. They are about to face the Ball and Chains guard. And
I've heard this is the best boss in the game. Chex, can you pick me up on that?
The best, worst, most dangerous, quickest boss. No, it's
quickest. Oh,
it's not even a boss, but it is a tricky mini boss and a possible reset point.
Yeah,
nice
that's actually true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because I guess the. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
It's one of many ball and chains we'll have to fend off. Not many, but it's a lot like a gold guard. It's a lot like a golden ball and chains guard, and we have to fight 2 of them later.
Yeah, unfortunately, at least later on, we'll have the Master Sword, which is twice as powerful as the fighter sword that we currently have, and not only that, we'll be able to have some sword beams as well. So we're definitely kind of underpowered, fighting what basically is like a mini boss, right? At this stage in the game, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess like maybe it makes sense, right? Because it's considered a mini boss, and like because like the ball and chain guard is also, it's about the same size, right? Sprite as Link is, as opposed to like all the other bosses, he's like 3 or 4 times as big as Link is, right? Armos,
Oh yeah.
Anmo, yeah.
Yeah, one thing about this installment of the Legend of Zelda series is that the bosses grew in size, which was one of the most impressive things about the 16-bit graphics of this time, and just one of the special things about this game, for those who are nostalgic about it.
Oh, that's actually true, right? Yeah, this is the first game for the SNES, and at least the NES games, everything was pretty uniform, at least when it comes to size and graphics. And did we just see a chest turn on Ace's side?
I need to keep count here.
Yeah, I didn't even realize these runners even went for chest turns. But this far out in the tournament, you gotta bring your style, right? You gotta bring your swag. Otherwise, like why are we even racing at this point? Unfortunately, yeah, both runners got a pretty far out there key rats. At least I guess it happened to both runners.
That's right. So they both deal with it well. Timing the boomerang to grab the key while it's away from the wall. Wow. With one slash, Ace dropped 3 rupees, but he does not collect
unfortunately, exactly, yeah. It's like slash, and then as he's kind of moving towards the door and eventually being sucked in, right? He just can't pick up those pretty nice rupees. Fox, on the other hand, looks like he's going to come out of Escape just a little bit richer. 1 in 5 rupees certainly, it's nice, especially on Fox's side. He doesn't probably have to worry about any more rupees. But Ace has many, many more opportunities in order to get some money.
And as part of Link's uniform, we pick up Sanctuary Heart, probably the most reliable safety we can have of all of our optional items.
Yeah, it'll never leave you. And and the fact that we're getting it so early in the game, right? We have definitely seen many a time when runners have been saved, sometimes even multiple times in the same run by the Sanctuary Hearts. Both these runners ended up dealing with the ball and chain guard and escaped pretty well, ended up not taking any damage. But one of the reasons why that boss is probably one of the most dangerous ones, especially early on, is it does do 1 full heart of damage. If you clink your sword against his ball and chain, or something awry, comes up, you are going to be down some health very, very quickly. Oh man, that was a red rupee on Ace's side too. It's like he's just generating all this cash, but is just gonna leave. I guess be a good Samaritan and leave the cash, for the other inhabitants of Hyrule.
Yeah, so now we're entering Eastern Palace. Still not a very dangerous dungeon, but more dangerous than Escape. And we'll see what Fox... Yeah, Fox booms the first Popo out of the way. Ace goes around it.
Yeah, definitely. Fox has actually had to use his boomerang quite a few times, really, putting that boomerang to use. I did see him, unfortunately, get actually a little bit of boomerang clink. Sometimes, not often, you get to see from runners, just because I think he tried to boom some ropes and ended up booming the same ropes, and you ended up getting some clinks.
All right, so we are making our way through Eastern. It's likely both runners will pick up the first pot of arrows. We typically don't see anyone skip that, but it is optional.
Yeah, that is actually somewhat surprising because I actually, especially early on when you first learn stuff about, the speedrun is, arrows are a prime source of damage. You want as many arrows as you possibly get at all times. And I actually didn't even ever realize that arrow pods actually could be optional, especially like this early on, when you want as definitely as many arrows as you can going into Armos.
Right. We would have to rely on drops. Okay, so in the big key room, Fox had to go to the right, slightly slower, but the popos were just in his way on the left side.
Yeah, so, we definitely don't want, if this is going to be the worst luck that Fox has for this entire run, that's probably acceptable to him, right? We definitely don't want to burn our luck, our good fortune, I guess, early on, especially at this stage when there are many, many things that could go wrong later on in the game. Alright, looks like Fox actually manages to sneak right by that Popo going upstairs. Ace, unfortunately, I think it looks like he shot the arrow a little bit higher, and so unfortunately had to kind of wait for the second cycle of that green Igor.
It's definitely one of the scariest rooms, maybe the scariest. If it goes wrong, you're running. You are running as fast as you can bootless.
Yeah, and so at least Fox ended up getting one arrow drop, right? A lot of people, the last couple rooms, with these red Igors, oftentimes is a run killer for, especially early on, but it is, like the room though with the green Igors, though that room is probably one of the most common rooms that, as you said, checks goes awry. Oh no.
Oh my gosh. I'm surprised to see the start get messed up for Ace here in the Armos fight, but he controls it pretty well, dealing, defeating all 6 statues in an unscripted manner.
Yeah. So so that we did see on Fox's side, very nice quick kill setup, for Armos. Pretty common, especially at this stage in the tournament. But as we're probably, but hopefully not going to see, and from both these runners, if you can execute something with practice on a script. More or less, right? Things are going to go pretty smoothly, hopefully. When things go awry or things go off script, that's when you are really being tested for how good you can react and how good your skills are. And Ace, as you said, Chex did a really nice job to recover.
Yeah, I believe he started the fight with 29 arrows, and now it's 8, so he used 3 extras, but he's tied with Fox for arrows. And we see the Sahajrala Rupee route for AceZer0187.
Yeah, so something that's probably not as common, for like I want to say like 126, 125, and lower runners. But this is definitely something that is suddenly a very viable strategy. It gives actually quite a peace of mind, both in terms of money, resources, and as well as a couple extra bombs that we're going to have. We always want more arrows because arrows lets us save time and do more damage, but we definitely need at least like some minimum number of bombs because if we run out of bombs later, that can actually be a pretty hefty restarts as opposed to if we run out of arrows later, it's like, well, we'll just use a little bit, more time in order to, kill whatever we need to kill.
And Fox misses a spin speed outside of library, but knows the backup route well and just dashes out.
Oh yeah, we didn't even mention the fact that the prize that we get from Eastern Palace, of course, is the biggest speed reward of the entire game, which is the Pegasus boost. Lets us go so fast. Nice demonstrations on both these runners' sides in order to get the spin speeds.
Right. Our speedrun just began. Okay. Ace got the bad bonk at the bush arrow screen, and got hit as a consequence.
It's, at this point, Ace isn't probably in real danger of, dying for health. He's probably just most annoyed at the fact that he had to like stop his dash and then have to like restart it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, here we go. Fox is in the desert lobby. He's doing the strange
Oh no! What?
dash up.
No.
And of course he gets wrecked as punishment from the lever.
Well, maybe he could use this as a learning experience for the next time he decides to go through Desert Lobby. Demonstrating, of course, another...
Yeah, I don't know, but for some reason, Fox's file name was Desert Lobby. And there we go.
We should ask Ace.
Demonstrates the proper strat. I think Fox was doing it to match Ace's strat. I think he's known for it.
Oh, okay. That just makes some amount of sense then.
Yeah, leave it to the pros, Fox.
Yeah, I think also when Fox ended up going through the Cannonball Room, he actually did get some pretty good RNG in that he didn't have to stop his dash at any point. Hopefully Ace is going to have something similar. It looks pretty good.
Yeah. Nice RNG.
And I think if you don't have to stop your dash going to the chest, it also means you don't have to stop your dash leaving the chest. Is that correct?
It doesn't. You don't have to delay the start of the dash, right?
Okay. Cool.
Typically.
Alright, so this is another potential spin speed moment that Fox opts not to go for. Sometimes we do see that, whenever there are manual stairs or ladders, it's always another opportunity for spin speed because we always have a sword and boots. That one is a bit more precarious in that the risk versus reward may not be as high. If you end up jumping off the desert ledge, you get to do desert front all over again.
Oh yeah, and Fox does not. By the way, Fox saves his menu buffer to until the block push, so he doesn't waste any time pushing more than he needs to.
Yeah, as Fox momentarily passes through this cutscene, we're going to see probably one of the more challenging, but what I heard from runners, most fun to practice light world bosses, which is the landmillis. One of the reasons why we really want a lot of arrows, actually pretty good first phase for Fox, is that we only need 4 arrows per worm as opposed to like 8 slashes from our sword. You can see landmillis sometimes don't want to cooperate. Oh, that was a nice 3 cycle though on Fox's side.
Yeah, really nice. And Ace, it appears that Ace is a bit behind, but he did pick up Sahaz Roller Rupees in this route, which will save him time later.
Yeah, so we did see that both Ace and Fox, to the bog from the back wall in order to try to set up, at least the first cycle, which is, the most predictable. Looks like Ace isn't getting like the best of patterns, but he's reacting to this pretty well. Especially, man, that third land mode just decides to short. Whenever you see short hops, it's just like, oh, I have to wait another cycle, pretty much.
Yeah, and I think I skipped a phase in my counting, so that was a nice early 4 or 5.
Yeah, it was a really good recovery. Unfortunately, Fox, man, he's trying to get to the whirlpool. At least get to the whirlpool safely, but the path on the way there, though, looks like he's actually down 2 hearts already, just from the dangers of the Hyrulean overworld.
Yeah, Fox used a new technique where we are menuing to the boomerang after the Landmo fight because we get a free menu. And Fox used the boom to knock a Buzzblob out of his way, but the crab came from behind. So, yeah. And so without any boomerang and, sort of a mistiming there. Zero runs into the buzz blob, so that loses a little bit.
Yeah. So as we're going to see that, well, hopefully we're going to see too many more electrocution animations, but the buzz blobs in the light world and the Baris in the dark world really don't make our lives easy for our runners. Speaking of trying to make things difficult for Fox, that dead rock, though, is just hovering around 8. Oh my gosh. Alright, so Death Mountain. At least Fox has rescued the old man, so if he does happen to die here, it's not going to be the end of the world, but we are on 1 heart going into... We are going to be on 4 hearts, I think, maybe, going up to the Tower of Hera.
Yeah, I have not seen anything like that. That
Wow. Yeah.
that rock just chased Fox all around that left side. He was almost on his way up this ladder. Oh boy.
Alright, okay, so second time is just as good as the first time. Up Death Mountain, you know, he only, you know, got bullied once by a boulder and had to restart his spin speed like twice or something, but you know, just there's a reason, you know, why this place is called Death Mountain. Ace, on the other hand, it looks like he's gonna cash in on some of his good fortune because he ended up taking no damage. I think he got spin speed first try too. It's definitely going to make his way into Hera with significantly more health, actually, than Fox.
Yeah, it sort of evens the score a bit. And, yeah, Ace did not take any damage, only half a heart down going into Hera from that electrocution damage earlier. Fox is still getting beat up, going down into the tile room with 2 hearts. This is the most dangerous segment, it seems. We have all that random...
just for Fox?
Well, yeah. Well, especially for Fox, for some reason. I don't know why. But it's got this terrible overworld. It's got moldworms on every floor. Not every floor, but it's there throughout this dungeon. And the worst moldworm of them all is at the very end.
Oh man, speaking of dangerous moldworms, that moldworm almost sniped Fox trying to hit that switch. This is, Fox needs to be able to make it out of the basement alive because one of the last things you want to do is die in the basement before picking up the big key because we get to do this tile room all over again. Looks like at least Fox makes it out on 2 hearts, but at least he has the big key, so it's not going to be, you know, the end of the world if he ends up taking another death.
Oh yeah.
Does have a nice Beetle's room, manages to hit the switch and the Beetle in 1 swoop, so, you know, we don't have to waste any more extra time. Does hit the safety switch going up, so that does, you know, kind of indicate that he, you know, potentially is a bit concerned about his health. Ace having some really nice draw pluck, too, as well, being able to get those 5 arrows from the Beetle. And Fox, picking up that safety heart, at least he gets the bomb jump first try in Hera. We'll probably pick up another heart somewhere before going up to Moldor. Oh no!
Wow.
Oh no!
Fox went for the rail clip, but still got hit by the fire, and that, you know, lost all hearts. I don't know why that didn't clip. I want to say it has to do with clinking the sword. I'm not quite sure. So he didn't get the setup where he approached diagonally into the rail because he was already in front of the rail or something.
I'm like we just see Ace, you know, rail clip through that when he didn't take damage. I mean, sure, he was you know, had a lot more health as buffer, but at least it worked on Ace's side. I'm not sure why. Yeah, it didn't work on Fox's side. You said something about the biggest, meanest, you know, most random Moldworm on Ace's side, right?
Ace takes care of Moldworm in a pretty fast fight, employing a lot of dashes. Very well done.
I think Ace is, maybe a bit vindictive or something, Chess, because, you said that Moldrum was this, like really angry, monster at the top of the tower, and Ace just makes it look so easy. It's like, didn't even put up much of a fight.
I was proved wrong.
It's like, yeah. A lot of clinking on Fox's side, though, for Moldorm. Also, though, a really nice last Enraged phase on Fox's side. That, of course, is always going to be the most dangerous. Moldorm has a ton of bounce, and we see that there are no safety guardrails anywhere on the top of this tower in his arena.
All right, so now Ace is going into the Lost Woods. He's not going to pull any trees. He doesn't need the pull of blues and the pull of reds like Fox does. So he will primarily focus on avoiding damage, because it's going to be very nice if we have sword beams with our Master Sword.
Yeah, so at least if Ace ends up getting hurt, as you said, we are going to probably lose our beams, but especially if he gets hurt earlier on, there are lots of opportunities, well, not lots, but there are definitely opportunities for you to kind of replenish your health. Fox, on the other hand, he, as we saw, that he ended up, taking some money that just grows on trees in Hyrule. Always a great place to be. He, though, really doesn't want to take damage because we need 2 tree pulls. The first one, Fox already did. Those bush cards, they're not good for the heart or ambushes. But he needs to kill 4 enemies, and so he can pull this tree pull twice. The second time in order to get 80 more rupees, which is how much more money we need in order to enter the Palace of Darkness. You might think that, because we can come to the Lost Woods so early in the game, like the enemies, aren't very dangerous, but like this segment can be quite nerve-wracking because you really don't know what's hiding underneath those bush guards or those bushes.
Right, and Ace took a bonk in the Lost Woods, but it was not in a dangerous spot where he could take any damage or anything. Did have to fight off a guard a little bit, but that's fine.
Choosing not to, choosing to dash, on the left side as opposed to the center to try and avoid getting frame rolled or, clinking his swords with those guards and not just preserving his health as well as he can. So it looks like he's actually going to be able to go into Agnum's Tower with sword beams and full health. And hopefully we're going to be able to keep them, especially for the second room, and we'll see one of the reasons why we want to do so shortly.
Fox walks around the first couple of trees in the west side breeze screen where a lot of players dash. That's one thing I've picked up from Fox.
Okay. Yeah, so it looks like, Fox also able to keep his health together. Hopefully he's going to be able to execute these next couple of rooms just as well as Ace did. Ace, slashing to get some of the guards out of his way, manages not to take any damage. But unfortunately, anytime you kind of start swinging your sword, all the guards become alerted to you, and then you're not in for a good time.
Ooh, all right. Wow. No. Okay.
Oh, unfortunate. All right, so we did see part of the reason why we don't want to clink our swords first with the guards. We just want to be able to kill them, without doing really any major combat. We did see, though, both runners ended up dash killing the blue guards in the second room. That is very important, because we don't actually want to advance the price pack for the guards, the price pack of those guards, because the mini Helmosaurs, the blue guards, and the Pokies that you find in Turtle Rock are all connected via price pack, and we really want to be able to save our price pack drops for Turtle Rock, which is like 45 to 50 minutes later on for this race, where the dungeons become a lot more dangerous and does a lot more damage to you.
So, Ace got through some of the most difficult rooms very well. Circle of Pots had bad RNG, but he timed the boomerang throw very well. Fox also had bad RNG, but dealt with it well. I still can't get over Ace's Dark Pits room, where he was knocked out of his dash. That room could have gone a lot worse. If you're knocked out of your dash, you could just fall and have to restart the room all over.
I guess Agnum got some lessons from Moldorm in terms of architecture, because there are also no guardrails like through those, like facing like the whole upper set of floors.
Yeah, the architecture in this castle makes no sense.
Right, so as we're progressing through the increase in RNG of the Light World bosses, right, Armos is pretty predictable. Lamos at least is predictable enough in the first, ish cycles. Moldorm is more or less not predictable, and Agnum is just pure RNG. You just hope for, few numbers of blue balls, or as few as you can get away with. Of course, we would really like to be able to see, so if both runners end up getting a lot of blue balls, I guess we'll just sit here and watch them, take care of Agnum a little by little. So long as they get same similar number of blue balls, it would be pretty disappointing if, one runner ends up getting, let's say, 10, and another runner ends up getting like 3 or something, and that'd be like the differentiator, between the race.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of though, Ace, I've lost track of how many blue balls he's had. At least 5.
I believe
though,
5.
What it seems like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice when we're comparing runs with, based on skill rather than all RNG or, skill with RNG thrown in. I mean, RNG is throughout this whole speedrun, but yeah, this is a obvious question.
Yeah, no, this is the type of RNG, right, where you can't even really react to it, right, and kind of show, how well versed you are, right? It's just that, like, if you get more, you just have to keep spinning, right? There's not like even much skill kind of involved in dealing with this RNG, as opposed to, like if you can even react well to, let's say, like Moldorm or to like Landmo, right? That definitely you have the power to affect the outcome, right? Here you really don't have much of an option.
Exactly. All right, on to Palace of Darkness, our first dungeon in the Dark World. And so we are paying Kiki the monkey to open up the dungeon. Ace, of course, got all of his rupees from Sahasrahla. Not all of them, actually, but enough. And a nice Kiki dash from Ace to cut down time on the cutscene.
Yeah, we've seen how useful boots are, for us, during the entire course of the speedrun, always, so we just wanted to give some more boots to Kiki as well to speed things up a bit.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So speaking of course, RNG, pod overworld, going from the pyramid to pod, going from the pod to anywhere else, there is quite a bit of RNG. We did actually see some pretty good fortune from both runners to not get lotteried by the Ropas. Anytime where you have to dash through Ropas, when they're jumping or not, is just you just roll some more dice. Unfortunately, yeah.
Ace took an inevitable hit from the Medusa. He slashed Abari and then did a quick hop. So that timing typically works out to taking damage. What he would want to do is, if he's going to slash Abari, probably not do a quick hop, just hold off the edge and take those 20 frames to bait the fireball. Fox does it here with no quick warp. With no quick hop, he baits the fireball away.
Well, so both runners ended up picking up the Sanctuary Heart, 20 some odd minutes ago. One of the reasons why we want Sanctuary Heart, not only because we have some health buffer, just in case, something like what happened on Ace's side, take an extra heart or two of unexpected damage or unintentional damage. We also want to have enough health in order to do this hammer jump. It's double pixel perfect. And we also want to be able to take not so much damage that we can't get sword beams later.
All right. With minimal buffers, AceZer0187 has a nice hammer jump. Oh, Fox gets a arrow drop from the Bari at the beginning of.
Yeah, no, that was definitely unfortunate.
Bari on the return. That's good.
One of the few upsides of potentially of facing Baris is maybe they'll actually drop something useful for you. But just like we're seeing on Ace's side, more often than not, they're not friendly because not only was the Bari in the way of Ace, so he couldn't, so he had to, maybe try and stop, his dash. The Bari was also electrocuting.
Okay, don't know what happened there with Fox. He got the second pixel barely in time before the bomb exploded, and he made it across without fail.
Ace is going to demonstrate why we want sword beams for at least the pod basement. Our sword beams are able to hit crystal switches from afar. That saves us a couple menu transitions to go back to say like the boomerang and back. Also, unfortunately, that when he ended up killing all the mimics like didn't drop any arrows in his path. So he also did have to spend one extra one trying to activate the green statue.
I don't know how the statue avoided that shot. Incredible.
Should maybe ask Pause architecture designer. All right.
There are secrets to be found in this game still.
Yeah. Good turtle room for Ace, no party. So Ace is going to walk to Helmasaur responsibly, or dash to Helmasaur responsibly.
There are very minor things to pick up in this game. By the way, Ace is going to Helmasaur now, one of the most difficult fights. Let's focus on this. So he's got a sword out strat. So sometimes we'll see a spin speed strat. So Ace is starting with a sword spin. He's got his sword held out for his hammer extension. Uses slashes as well, and takes down Helma with another hammer hit. Fox is going with spin speed. So this will extend the hammer hitbox in a very surprising way. This is the most recent tech we've found for dealing with this boss. And there's no real fireballs to evade here. Fox takes down phase 2 very quickly.
Yeah, that was really a pretty clean fight, honestly, on Fox's side. And actually, this was actually a pretty good demonstration of the difference between, I would say, like sword spin speed, Helma, and versus maybe the more traditional non-spin speed version. So the hammer ends up doing twice as much damage as the Master Sword, so you only need 4 hammer hits. But yeah, as you said, Chex, that hammer hitbox is pretty unpredictable. And what we would really like to have is the hammer's damage with the sword's hitbox, because the sword can swing it a lot, wider. And so, we saw that, Fox ended up having a pretty reliable and safe Helma, whereas Ace kind of had to spend a little bit more time to try and use his Master Sword to slash more times.
Yeah. All right, here's that dangerous overworld. The pod screen return.
Oh no!
Ace starts his dash a bit too early and gets hit by the Murderdactyl. Fox walks towards the Ropo.
It's like Fox needs to hold out a sword just a little bit, but managed to react very well in order to not actually take any damage. Jeez.
Yeah, I guess presumably he tried to start a dash, but for some reason didn't, so I just walked toward it and needed to step back before restarting a dash.
Yeah, looks like
Yeah,
at
there's
least
a
he
lot-
got the important one though.
Okay, Fox started an early hammer dash to make it past the hammer peg screen, and he just couldn't get that hammer dash started in the first try, so he took a hit there. What we would have seen is a very fast hammer dash coming out of the left dash, and Fox is able to set that up by nudging the statue below Link. It's, I believe, thanks to Dom that strat was adopted. Dom of Dom Splice.
Unfortunately, it looks like both runners are having a little bit of a rougher pod overworld on their way to Thieves Town than they both probably would prefer. Ace, having ended up taking some damage from the Murderdactyl because, he didn't end up quite getting the dash out, whereas Fox looks like he didn't get beat up as much, but did, end up losing some time just because of the other less damaging enemies kind of just bullying him throughout.
All right, so Ace uses a flute dash at the duck cutscene. He presses, Y to activate the flute and dashes on the same frame, so that after the cutscene, he's able to dash first frame. So we're seeing minor things like that from Ace. One in pod that I wanted to mention, but there's just not enough time before the boss, is that he pushed a block and then went into the warp portal and was still pushing. And so we can save frames potentially by not having our shield drawn.
Oh, yeah.
Because while Link is pushing, his shield is gone.
Yeah, it's all these little things, so it may not necessarily sound that impressive if it's, like a couple frames here, like 2 or 3 here, maybe 5 there. But, these little things, if you're going through like 500 screens, like they really do add up in terms of time saves. And especially if, this is going to be, somewhat free or low effort, right? It's just, it's just like at this point, like why not?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. The more runners practice this game, the more they learn. They'll adopt a strat for a screen, and just having strats cuts down the minutes to below 90, something like that. And then runners, as they practice, they'll simplify strats so that the inputs aren't so complicated. And so it's pretty helpful to have strats that are performed in simple steps, a fewer number of steps.
Yeah, especially when you have to, if you end up playing this game a whole lot, any type you can kind of make your life easier, that's something you definitely want to take. Unfortunately, it looks like actually both runners did not end up being able to dash through that hallway unstopped. Ace, I don't think actually get it on the right pixel, so he ended up kind of having to restart his dash. Does manage to make it through the hallway though, only taking, I think, maybe 1 or 2 hearts of damage. Does have to be a little bit careful, because we definitely don't want to die, but at least he ended up bombing the attic.
Exactly. And going down to the basement at 3 hearts now. We have to be slightly careful. We can't, take a double hit or anything here.
Yeah, so these Zygzags end up doing 2 hearts of damage. There is an upcoming conveyor belt room. You see, oh my gosh, Ace, that blue Zygzag was coming for him. Do see Ace picking up some safety hearts just in case. If you end up, of course, there are bars on that conveyor belt. If you slash bar, you can take damage. You can also fall off the conveyor belt, so it's kind of like a double whammy. Something bad can happen to you.
Right, Fox, so he's going for dash strats, dashing through the cells. A little trickier setup.
Yeah, so we did see Ace try to get through the conveyor belt room. The bard was electrocuting him, so he ended up taking a couple slashes to delay his dash. Fox looks like he tried to dash, but kind of got delayed in the middle because of the red bar later.
Yeah. All right, we have a blind fight for Ace and Fox going into blind as well. So blind only takes 9 hits. Nice scripted fight from Ace.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm certainly glad to see that Ace ends up taking down blind. I think this was actually one of the deaths or something that maybe he took against you, Shaq. So I want to say, you know, and I think he mentioned during his interview that that was like the first time it happened in like forever. What on earth happened to Fox?
All right, Fox wins the fight with
oh my gosh,
only 1/2 of a heart left. So what happened was phase 2. For some reason, Fox, in phase 2, we hold the sword down and like walk down into blind, but for some reason, Fox bypassed blind to the side, and phase 2 got, you know, delayed, and then phase 3 got out of hand.
This Fox is just demonstrating the importance of taking out the Sanctuary Heart at the beginning of the game.
Absolutely. All right, so Ace still ahead here in the Dark World. We'll be picking up the frog, saving it, and getting his tempered sword.
Fox, apparently, so Fox's bombs don't always, I guess, work in terms of hitboxes. So unfortunately, it looks like the first one actually didn't go off. However, he did demonstrate some game knowledge in that he managed to slash a 50-50 bush that has a potential bomb drop underneath. So whenever a bomb doesn't go off, when we need it to go off, we're always a little bit, I guess, like more wary about where our next bomb's gonna come from. But luckily, you know, as he was waiting for the second explosion, a bomb, you know, was able to, you know, he was able to replenish the supply relatively quickly.
Yeah, I totally missed that. Yeah. Yeah, there are 2 bombs in that general area. One is way off to the side, though. We would not want to pick that up ever.
Really, a kind of nice contrast actually by both these runners. You know, Ace was just picking up his temper sword, which is orange, where we actually did see Fox kind of stick out his still blue master sword. And Ace gets the fence dash. Really nice.
It's auto win from Ace.
That's right.
Right.
Just stop the race right now. Alright, Ace has finished his ransacking of the village of outcasts, I guess stealing from the thieves who stole from other thieves. Oh, I don't know. Unfortunately, getting some not great RNG, so had to run into actually some of the spears that the moms were throwing. Damage probably isn't going to be annoying, it's just kind of probably going to be the other I wanted to keep dashing, why didn't you let me game type of thing.
Yeah, Fox got fence dash as well, so he's still in this. He's not out yet.
Ace making this room actually look much easier than it is. Ends up getting some mummy interference, but does manage to, you know, recover pretty well.
Yeah, this is one of the most difficult rooms in the game because when the mummies come after you, there's no good way to defend yourself. Oh boy, Ace! He's picking up bushes, which is really, really tricky when the rope is coming for us. All right, nice bomb jump. By the way, our runners have been using a spin setup to put Link on the very last pixel. So that the bomb always forces Link across the hole. So in a standing position, Link can stand on the very last or the second to last pixel, but the spin setup, which is a more recent setup in the speedrun, is pretty safe and consistent, especially for runners like Ace and Fox who did not have as much experience with prior strats for bomb jumps.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Alright, Ace, first one of our two runners in the back of Skull Woods, unfortunately did not get some great Fire Snake RNG, but of course maybe that was just all intentional, because Ace would really like to not have full health actually going into Mothula, because we really want to get rid of those pesky sword beams. Fox, though, looks like he managed to make it through pretty handily. Hoping for a good, clean Mothula fight on Ace's side. Looks like he is going to try the double poke, the dash poke. And a couple slashes and Mothula goes down.
Yeah, look,
splits.
It's hard for me to tell when someone gets the double poke at the very beginning, but it looked like Ace got it. Now Fox has got a moth that went down, and okay, a fast moth considering that Mothula went on a trip.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So this is another one of those examples where, if so long as you follow a script, relatively speaking, or in this case, kill moth as fast as you possibly can, especially starting out with a double poke if you can get it, and then a couple sword slashes. This boss ends up going pretty reasonably well. If Mothula, gets a little bit more time on its side, spikes are coming after you. The more spikes on the screen, like the more opportunities that Mothula doesn't get to take damage from your sword, because you end up hitting him into one of the spikes. The spikes are also, doing damage to you, and it can get pretty out of hand pretty quickly.
Thankfully, I don't believe we've seen Phase 2 Mothula from anyone in this tournament. Our runners have been able to take down the moth in the first 37 seconds or whatever. But after something like 37 seconds, the moth actually starts dive bombing Link.
Really? Oh man, that sounds not pleasant.
Oh, we had an interesting north passage sort of dash setup from Ace. Fox going with the more well-known method, the one I've been calling the Christos dash, something that apparently FSG adopted recently as a counter to a strat shaming, where the more typical strat for dashing was it was just a different kind of dash that not many people used, but now a lot of people are using it. It's really great to see it from runners like Fox and DoomTap, and I believe I'll start adopting it as well, because I walk into the moblin. I feel like this one that we're seeing here is just a lot safer.
Anytime if you can improve consistency or be safer and without really sacrificing any time, I mean, it's like for RTA stuff, like that's definitely like a really great decision to do.
Yeah, especially in a race setting, in a tournament race setting. We don't see the safest strats from AceZer. Ace is, we see some strats like Ace Fire Rod, the last mummy of Skullwoods, but we also saw the Cypher strat in the Mummy Hellway. So Ace really uses an interesting mix of strats, I've noticed. And we know that Ace's PB is in the 127s. I think if we see more NMG practice, we'll see a PB into the next minute milestone easy.
Fox was so close to keeping his health. Unfortunately, swimming is probably the most difficult mechanic in this entire game. Just manages to not be able to sneak in through that whirlpool, gets bonked by the Zora. Just manages to knock him back into the whirlpool, but what we'd really like to be able to see is be able to have sword beams for this room.
Yeah, and the second most difficult place to move around is on ice. And so Ace slipped into a Bari, unfortunately, to take a half heart of damage. So Fox is right behind here.
Yeah, I think actually the gap is closing, right, between Ace and Fox. I want to say that they were actually farther apart after what happened in the light world, but it seems like Fox is actually just catching up slowly but surely.
Yeah, I was kind of rambling a little bit too much. I didn't see the Zora overworld screen very closely, but it's very possible that Fox was able to save time on that screen, one of the longest overworld screens of the game, where it leaves, frames on the table everywhere. Fox gets Fox gets the conveyor dash more quickly than Ace. Fox took a fall in the ice ballast bomb jump, but gets through.
Oh no! Just misses the fireball. I mean, I'm glad that he decided to wait there. If you're gonna spend a couple extra seconds to make sure that you don't fall after you do the ice palace bomb jump, because otherwise you're gonna have to do it again. The time, it's Fox is certainly very capable of being able to do it again, but it's more of the resource management with bombs in this case. When Ace ended up going to Sahasrahla, he got 3 free bombs, right? Definitely makes his resource management a bit easier. Fox, though, might have to, start worrying about his resources because he didn't have, 3 free bombs. I did see both runners end up getting a stair clip, if I'm not mistaken. That's a really nice, easy slide into the basement method.
For sure.
Pretty consistent setup as well.
Yeah, that's one of those strats that kind of surprised me. That people adopted after it came out at the end of 2018. All right, cold stare. Nice fight from Ace. It's over in an instant.
Yeah, that was a really nice spin. Looks like actually Fox is gonna adopt something pretty similar. Lets the puffs walk a little bit, or puff a little bit longer than what Ace did. Also, really nice fight. The important part is that they didn't get hit. I think they did. Both of them had looks like enough health in order to at least take 1 hit from cold stare, but it's once the cold stare puffs kind of get warmed up, cool down, they are on a rampage and they will just come after you, and usually 1 hit buffers are not going to be enough for that fight.
Yeah, our runners were not in too much danger. They would not have died in 1 hit from cold stare, but there are situations, especially in this segment, where that may be a problem. All right, so now there's potential for routing differences. I'm not sure what they go for here. Ace is going to Link's house. I think it's time for Swamp.
It is time for Swamp. Our favorite dungeon in the entire game. Not for Fox though. He is opting to get a medallion. We're not going to use it, or I don't expect him to be using it. Death Mountain, round 2, still, or maybe round 3, if you count the death early that Fox took. This is not treating him well at all. But at least, luckily for Fox, this is actually one of the reasons why some runners opted in order to get the Ether Medallion now versus later is we do see that Ace has a plethora of health. Enemies in Swamp don't do very much damage, and if we end up having Sword Beams versus not, it's probably not going to be too much of a difference. So if Fox ends up taking 1 to 2 to however many number of hearts and then goes into Swamp, a little under the weather, per se, it's probably not going to be the end of the world for him.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Fox is 1 heart down, but it, 10 hearts is plenty for this dungeon.
And we also did see on Ace's side, one of the reasons why sword beams may or may not always work out in your favor, right? If you have sword beams, you try and slash an enemy, sometimes the sword beam damage, which is fighter sword damage, will override the temper sword damage. So that's why you have to see, in this case, when he was trying to slash the water tektites, I think, you just having to slash them twice because the first slash only counted as fighter sword damage, which was the beams.
Yeah, there are pros and cons. But yeah, in a situation like that, because if we miss a dash, it might be handy to be able to beam them if we've passed them up.
Yeah, so because Fox decided to get Ether Medallion and not Ice Rod, in this case, in the split versus Ace, we are going to see, it is going to be, sorry, Ace is going to seem more ahead than he probably actually is.
Yeah, this is true. We have a route divergence, and they won't sync up again until Turtle Rock, most likely.
One of the nice parts, of course, quote unquote, is the design of this dungeon. We end up pushing a lot of switches and going back and forth between lots of screens. There are, it's probably this dungeon, we actually don't get very much of a lot of opportunity in order to use those nice boots because, the dashes are a bit shorter. So it's really actually just about trying to manage some pretty good clean movement, and while not getting hit by, all of the various enemies that kind of try and just chip away at your health.
Right, and we have to have a different mind about our dashes because we don't dash at 4 pixels per frame. We dash at something more like 3 pixels per frame while we're in the water. So we have to have a different sense of timing for canceling dashes.
Oh, you actually bring up a really good point.
Yeah, for our runners, they are constantly, creating this balancing act between maximizing their dash and stopping before bonking. So it's just a different kind of game to play here in Swamp House. All right, nice hook dash from Ace. With a hook dash, Link can pull a pot from behind a statue more easily. This cannot be explained except video game.
And also somewhat deceiving because if you didn't realize you had to hook dash, unless you don't have some controller inputs, you might not be able to figure that out by just being able to watch like a speed run or something like that, based on video alone.
Exactly right. So this is the great thing about streaming is runners can, do their practice or their runs or their randomizers live, and then people in chat can correct them or let them know, hey, you can do this in a different way, make it more consistent. And that's how I learned the hook dash as well.
Oh, Alright, Ace on the Argus fight. Looks like nothing fancy, at least. Just gonna be the old, reliable hook and slash. Pretty good phase 2 though. Managed to kind of trap Argus into a corner in order to, reliably get his 2 fire rod shots and a spin to take down Argus phase 2. I imagine Fox is gonna go for the 0 cycle.
Right. I believe so. Okay, we have a refill of arrows in the refill room for Fox, going from 4 and 20 to 4 and 25. Seems like a lot of bombs.
Yeah, I don't remember actually where he ended up picking up some extra ones. I know Azora dropped one for him, like right before he entered the whirlpool to go to Ice Palace. But man, Fox is getting bullied though, like in the swimming room. A really nice zero cycle though on Fox's side for Argus, and a really nice phase 2. Great boss fight, Fox. Definitely something that he needed to close at least some of the gap between Ace and himself.
Perfect fight. And the menu to the fire rod, of course, occurs while Argus is on his way up. And we can save frames by menuing on that animation. And it's one of our times where we can menu while something is happening in the game. Kind of like the boomerang earlier. Okay, it's a Death Mountain time for Ace. He's got to pick up his Ether Medallion before going into Mire. We can no longer procrastinate. We need this medallion right now.
That's right. Yeah, Ether, of course, is the entry point into Misery Mire. We can't get into it without it, and that is our next destination for both these runners. So we are going to be able to get a little bit of sinking here. Ace, though, continuing his really nice Death Mountain fortune, did not end up taking a single heart of damage. An amazing feat, actually, ever since we become Visit. And Ace actually demonstrated one of the reasons why we want to, we could potentially delay getting the Ether Medallion before the Mire segment, is because after Swamp, we have the hook shot. And hook speed on stairs is significantly easier to execute than spin speed is.
Yeah, it may be a little subjective, but I agree with you. It's easier. All right, so Fox is first into Misery Mire and gives us a bird toss. Wow. Shout outs to 2016 memes. The first NMG tournament.
Unfortunately, looks like Ace decided to take a very slight detour. Maybe he wanted to go back to do Swamp Palace because he loved it so much, but looks like we are, after getting the Ether Medallion, going to go back on our way to Mire.
I missed that. Yeah.
Well, speaking of some more divergence, I don't think Fox picked up his Ice Rod yet, so it looks like
Right.
we're actually not going to be quite converged just yet. I don't remember where they were right after Swamp, but it certainly, at this point, is going to look like Fox is significantly more ahead.
Yeah. So, yeah, Fox will get his Ice Rod before Turtle Rock. Last chance to get that up.
Yeah, you really, don't want to go into Turtle Rock without the Ice Rod. It's just a good tip for people who not only run this category, but maybe some other potential categories.
Yeah, good advice for anyone de-rusting this game. That's the best time to forget.
Ace, I guess he must have lost a heart to a fire snake, and another heart to oh my gosh, that Bari really needs some social distancing here. So, of course, both Ace and Fox demonstrated pretty well why we wanted to keep full health, and particular sword beams for the second room in Mire, executing and can speed up the execution of that room pretty quickly. But of course, Mire itself is also a pretty dangerous dungeon. Everything, we are expected to have Blue Mail at this point, so everything does like 4 hearts of damage. And we really want to be able to keep at least 7 nice hearts before going into the Vitreous fight. 1 to 2 hearts, at least for Ace's side, isn't going to be the end of the world. You can always pick up a couple extra ones. But does have to be somewhat conscious of health, because if we just see Fox, for example, taking 3 hearts of potential damage to get that key.
Nice potential frame saver with the left chest turn as Ace heads left out of the room. You love to see it. All right, Fox is setting up a glitch known as Spooky Action Glitch. It was actually set up by the duck as we were dropped off. So we are confusing the game in its variable between the altitude of the duck and the area of effect from the fire rod, and we're able to hit switches from very far away. And luckily there are 3 switches in a row here, crystal switches that is, and Fox gets them all, and we have just enough magic to do it. It's pretty remarkable how this dungeon is set up for us to use this glitch. Okay, we have a sword drop from Fox thanks to an eyeball. This will hopefully just cost a cycle and not our life.
Yeah, I think Fox ended up coming
Very
in
good.
with, I want to say, 8 hearts of health. So we need to be very conscious because Vitreous eyes do 4 hearts of damage, but the goop around him does 1 heart. So what we'd really like to be able to do, what Fox has shown, is we want to be able to take damage from the slime, just 1 heart, use the iframes, and then sword spin our way in order to kill all the eyeballs. That fight, if done well or exactly right, does go pretty smoothly, but of course, lots of things could go poorly, and we don't really have that much health to spare. Meanwhile, Ace coming into his fight should be enough health, but hopefully, nothing bad will happen to him.
All right, so Ace misses the far left eyeball with the first 2 spins, so we have to clean up a little bit. We just get a couple cycles, so not a big deal. And Ace takes down Vitreous. All right, now it's Fox. Time to get the ice rod. We are not forgetting it today.
That's fun.
And we are
wow.
surrounded by crabs. And a mine is revealed while a landmine is revealed while slashing the crabs, but we don't walk into it, which is good.
This is an amazing set of reflexes on Fox's side, reacting pretty well to Savage Dash and dealing with the crabs, but also not bumping into the mines. Of course, having beans and full health for the entry point of Turtle Rock is nice to have, definitely not required, but again, we still want to be able to keep health because Turtle Rock is a very dangerous dungeon. There are many enemies that do 4 hearts of damage to you in multiple successive hits. And of course, there's also Death Mountain, which actually Fox looks like he's actually finally getting some luck on his side in order to make it through with no damage.
Definitely. Yeah, the rock formation was particularly nice since there were no dead rocks to the left or below it, so Fox was able to dash below it.
Yeah, meanwhile, Ace probably getting his first set of real, bad luck, or bad relative, at least for him. Taking a couple hearts of damage on the Waffle House screen. Fox, though, geez, these dead rocks just don't let up to him. On the very last possible time when he get hit, ends up taking 2 hearts.
And it looks like Fox has got the top pixel for the Quake medallion. Nice frame saver there.
Yeah, definitely a fun fact that you don't have to walk all the way to the bottom in order to activate the quick medallion. So it's a pretty nice, easy time save.
Mm-hmm. A couple of pixels below that. So Fox is the first one into the dungeon, and he's headed to the torch room. again, Fox is outshining Ace in resources right now. So we'll see how Ace catches up. And Fox is mirroring out of...
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, the setup for that crystal switch, the roller room was messed up a little bit. So the safest way out is just to mirror. We'll take no more damage, and we won't lose any more than 6 seconds or so.
Yeah, so we did see that Ace was successfully able to take the damage boost of 3 hearts in order to get to that room slightly faster. Probably one of the reasons why Fox wanted to save his health. Also, same thing here with Ace, is we are hopefully going to get a fairy from this Pokey, just like what we saw on Fox's side, but not on Ace's side yet, is if we can, a fairy heals us for 7 hearts of health, which is what we'd like to be able to have. So don't want to take more than 7 hearts of damage.
Really nice strats demonstrated from both runners with the Sword Beam strat on Fox's side and the Samaria Block Blast, not Block Blast, but the Samaria only setup on Ace's side. Ace gets that arrow pot to help out his arrow count, so he should be all set for Ice Armos.
Oh no! Ace.
Okay.
So this is unfortunate. So all right, so he tried to kill the Pokey, and is trying to wait for the key and potential fairy drop. Got a hard drop, but I think he ended up getting hit by the Pokey rebound and a skull.
Wow, I didn't see the Pokey rebound, but I saw the skull. Yeah, that's really rough. It's the worst RNG, and unfortunate that Ace didn't survive it.
Yeah, I mean that I don't even think that Ace could get out of that at that point, and he was just he couldn't, I think he was just blocked. It was just so bad.
Yeah, really rough. Oh, it's Fox's race to lose now as Fox approaches the last part of the dungeon.
For what it's worth, I don't think we saw the fairy yet on Ace's side. Oh no, he needs to be very careful here. Alright, so at least he gets the fairy, and he gets a full magic drop, so that kind of nullifies a lot of what the anti-fairies did. Won't have sword beams for the upcoming Crystal Roller Room, but should hopefully have enough health to get through the rest of this dungeon.
Right, and Fox gets through Laser Bridge with a block to get the beetle out of the way.
Yeah, the full magic drop from the Pokies really makes the rest of the magic management, you don't have to do magic management, for the rest of the dungeon pretty nicely. And in particular, you don't have to run out of magic when you do that crystal puzzle room.
Oh, a nice double spin from Ace and Pokies too. All right. Nice one cycle from Fox at Trinex. We missed a fire rod shot, but that didn't matter. That'll just cost a few frames on refill. And nice fast phase 2 to defeat Trinex.
This is like the healthiest I've ever seen anybody come into or leave Eternal Rock, I think, this entire tournament.
Right. Fox took the force damage from the Dark Maze, and that's it.
I think he didn't quite get the laser skip the first time around, so I did end up spending a little bit more time in this room, but yeah, didn't end up getting hit by anything, which is probably more important. Ace tried to go for the fast beetle kill on there, but unfortunately it looks like nothing was really cooperating, so had to kind of fall back to using the king strats.
Right. And we've got a cane dash from Ace. Doesn't get the iframes, but that's fine. He gets through quickly. I think what we have okay. We have our typical hook speed from Fox going to Ganon's tower. And he drops the sword. Again, we're not drawing something that Link has to save frames. This time it's the sword. It's something we also saw from Fox to save frames going to and from mosaic transitions like Lost Woods and Zora's Domain. Fox would drop his sword so that we save lag frames. Woo! Nice dash kill from AceZer with 1 heart. Really incredible fight.
Yeah, that was amazing. So sorry. So Team Sankheart is up 1-1 for both these runners.
That's right. I mean, it has been a race full of twists and turns, but when we can be saved, we are saved.
Yeah, actually, so I think both runners ended up having somewhat of a rougher light world than what they're probably used to, but their mid game / early dark world was really solid. Just really unfortunate what happened there on Ace's side in Totodora trying to get that the key from the Pokey.
Yeah, and yeah. Okay, Fox is getting rid of these these bombs. It's just getting rid of the bomb. His last bomb will just set up his menu for 1 fewer movement. So
yep. All right.
Yeah.
Dropping into Ice Armos, having 18 arrows. I do expect him to pick up the arrows, chest with 10 arrows inside.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, looks like actually Ace is not opting to get the small key off the torch. So actually probably implies that he's going to get the key either from the mini Helmasaur or from the chest right before Moldon 2. So those to get those keys, especially if you're practiced, is a little bit faster. But of course, it's if you end up getting the torch key here, not only is it a bit safer, it doesn't really lose you all that much more time, and it gives you some peace of mind in that once you just get the key, you don't have to worry about anything else when you're upstairs, other than just to survive.
Really nice mimic rooms from Fox. 2 of the hardest rooms in the dungeon. From my casual perspective, I didn't understand when commentators would say they are 2 of the most difficult rooms, but because of how dangerous these mimics are, and because of how precise we have to be with our movements to get them in just the right position to shoot them with arrows, it becomes one of the most precise rooms or pair of rooms.
Yeah, have you ever had fugu or like blowfish, Jax?
No.
Yeah, so it's actually it's a pufferfish, which is extremely dangerous and poisonous. But there's like this one tiny little part that's actually like edible. So it's like if you can get that one part, you're like good to go. But if you kind of like misstep, you are in for a very unfortunate and unkind night.
Sounds delicious. Or deadly.
Or deadly. Did I see? Well, so all right. So Fox is getting through the upper side of GT. Oh no! Unfortunately, didn't quite place the Samara block in the right position, so he has to wait out another cycle in order to get the Whiz ropes. But of course, and one of the reasons why it looks like Fox actually wanted to or needed to slash the Whiz ropes as first to placing another block so we can maybe get through that room faster is we need to save enough magic for the torches.
Shoutouts to Fox for the nice lamp dash that we saw in Torches. Getting around the fire bar is not easy. Fox has had a couple of other mistakes, like missing the second torch room.
It's not often you see people missing the last torch, like in the upper left. It's usually, what happens is, so Fox got the third torch from underneath, which did not let the spark interfere. So normally when you get that one, you're pretty home safe.
Yeah, regardless, it'll be difficult to stop Fox. At this point, it's his race to lose. Moldorm 2 is kind. We do not get knocked off.
Yeah. Ace, though, just getting bullet in G5. Like, every single time you try to dash, I mean, which is exactly what happens. Like, it's just the timing of the shooter was just synced with him such that every single time he tried to dash, he got interrupted. Not to mention losing the health. Looks like the Moldorm is also just not cooperating as well.
Okay, we have 3 hits
nice pattern
on Aga 2. Does it count as 3? I'm not sure. We get 2, almost 3 on the second phase. Right, okay, so it was a double, not a triple to start with.
Yeah,
so.
Also demonstrating that blue balls are just as undesirable in Aghanim 2 when we saw them in Aghanim 1.
Yeah, so it was a 4 cycle for Fox. So we are approaching the final battle on Fox's side.
He has definitely done very well to save his health, and dropping into Ganon with a pretty comfortable, what I consider, 9 hearts.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Ganon himself does 8 hearts of damage to you. The Trident or the Fire Bass in phases 1 and 2 also do 4 hearts of damage. So not only can Fox actually take an unfortunate sight from Ganon and survive, he can take 2 hits from the Fire Bass and still be okay. Not that we really want to be in that position, but we've got the buffer.
Right, there's not any RNG that would really put us in that kind of danger. It's a challenging fight, and slip-ups can happen. It's not really so much of an RNG danger. However, there's still RNG in the fight just to help waste time, as the game loves to do. Okay, we've got a long-range fire rod setup, and Fox nails it. Very nice.
That is impressive, Fox. That's pretty precise timing. So what Fox is trying to do, or did successfully, is if you light the left torch before the right one goes out, the right one will never go out. That's some nice. So because we only need to light 1 torch versus 2, Fox is gonna have enough time to be able to land some triple spins, as opposed to if he needed to light both torches, kind of have to go back and forth. Reasonably speaking, you probably only get 2 at a time. Not to mention you kind of have to manage your magic, and of course with that, Fox blazes through the Ganon fight. Gonna wait for this cutscene and the bridge to appear, and he will be the first one of our 2 runners to finish in this race. Fire Rod dashing through to get to the Triforce.
Nice swag.
Alright, get your GGs out in chat. For Fox, finishing with official time of 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 35 seconds.
GG Fox.
Ace, dropping into Ganon with 4.5 hearts. That Sanctuary full heart or half heart is really pulling its weight here. So he can't take any hits from Ganon himself, but he is able to take one hit from the fire bats if he needs to. Wow. Wow.
Oh no. So we didn't get a one cycle phase 2. So we have Ganon at the top of the screen here, but this should be the last. So there we go. On to phase 3. I believe Fox gave some extra slashes that were not really necessary, but just all part of the way we like to handle this boss sometimes. And so Ace... Oh, no. I'm sorry. I'm mistaken. So Ace didn't get the script on that the way he wanted to. So he was trying to get those last minute slashes and couldn't quite get the full 12 hits. I misinterpreted that as I was watching.
Yeah, we did see also Ace pulling out the lamp. Of course, the lamp doesn't use very much magic. I'm sorry. Oh, that was unfortunate snipe there by the fire bat. Being on 1/2 heart, pretty much anything is just danger. He was out probably of the more dangerous parts of the fight, but you can always get sniped.
Yeah, it was a diagonal movement for some reason, just at the wrong time. And we have Fox here. Hello. GG's,
Hello.
Fox.
GG's, Fox.
On the win. Congrats.
Thank you. Wasn't the run I was hoping to do it with, but guess it was good enough today.
Yeah. Yeah, Hera was quite frustrating, obviously. How did you feel about that and then going forward?
Well, the first death is an accident, but the second death seems like a conspiracy. Yeah, I don't know. It was a mess.
Tell me more.
Well, I don't know. It was
clinked
fine.
That sword.
I think that's what happened. I'm not really sure. It was really weird. Yeah.
So I don't know the properties of what activates the clip. I assume you want to be walking diagonally upon contact, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know. That's never happened before.
Yeah, I'm making an assumption.
Yeah. But then the Dark World was mostly okay. None of it was like great, but it was all fine. So it worked out. The run was okay in the end. After Light World.
How about that scripted blind fight?
Yeah, well, that was pretty scary. So what happened there was, so I hold down left after I got my sword out, and I just kept holding it instead of letting go when I was in position to hit blind. So I just kept walking, and I was past blind when his hitbox activated again. So
yeah,
then everything went to hell. But then Ace was had some trouble in TR and I guess died to one of the Pokies. I wasn't watching. The stream kept cutting out for me. Pokies won.
It was it happened really quickly, but it was a combination of Pokey, Bunny Beam, and Skull.
That sounds terrible.
And AceZer wraps up the fight.
Yeah, much smoother. Yeah, much smoother. Again, in fight second time around. Get your GGs out in chat for Ace. So you can get an official time. 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 16 seconds. All things considered, this is actually pretty good time. Just all the things considering all the things that happened to Ace. Speaking of, GG's Ace.
GG
GG
Fox.
Ace. Sorry about TR.
Yeah, I mean, it was my mistake. Like, obviously, I'm not very good at that RNG specifically for Pokies 1, and I kind of just wing it, and it's usually fine. But I saw the heart, and I'm kind of low on health. I kind of want to grab this heart. And like, I took one step towards it and I was like, no, I'm going to get hit if I go any closer. And then I got hit. And I guess you don't have iframes when you're a bunny, or like when you turn back due to getting hit. That's what happened?
Correct.
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay. I didn't
Wow,
know that.
interesting.
So I took 8 hearts of damage picking up a heart and I died.
That's not a very good deal.
No, it's the golden rule, right? Don't go out of your way for a heart because you're going to get hit.
Yeah. I don't know
mean,
if you were watching
exactly.
the restream or anything, but I did your terrible desert lobby strat, and I got completely owned.
Yeah.
Nice. I did it and it worked great for me. So
Yeah.
I was
did it
actually
wrong,
practicing
clearly.
it this morning. I just can't get it.
Yeah, as a result, I said, leave it to the pro. Leave it to Ace.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Ace
like that
nailed it.
strat.
So, yeah. So, Fox, I noticed you missed a few fire rod shots toward the last few segments. Were you just really pushing the limits of where you could aim, or what was going through your mind?
On Ganon, you mean?
Turtle
Or-
Rock and Ganon's Tower. So,
Oh,
for
oh,
example,
yeah.
you missed a shot on Trinex. You missed a shot on Second Torches in G Tower.
The Trinex one, I think he just moved the ice head. That one's
Yeah.
fine. The
Yeah.
the torches too. I learned how to do that strat when I was trying to learn Jingle Skip, which is impossible, and I'm never going to go for it. But then I just like started doing it, even though it's too hard, and I always mess it up. I just can't
Okay.
stop and do a real strat.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I
Alright.
didn't have the race up this like I wasn't really watching the race, but I did have it up like on my phone, and I would glance at like the crystal cutscenes and stuff, and it looks like we had a close race for most of it.
Yeah, did you end up seeing what happened to Fox in Hera?
Mhm.
No, I assumed it was like a Hera Moldorm fall or a death from some bad Death Mountain RNG or something, because I actually didn't have the race up until after Aga Tower, and I assumed that's the big culprit that would have evened it out, especially with my 5 blue balls.
Yeah, I got 5 blue balls also, but I died in Hera. I actually died on the overworld and then again in the dungeon. It was a complete mess. It was like a 7-minute split.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully, like, were you feeling okay in Eastern Ace? Because I think like when you got to the back, because you think you missed the first green Igor
Ooh,
with
yeah.
the arrow, and then I think did you end up finding the arrow too quickly, like when you're at Armos?
Yeah, I don't know what I did on Armos, but I've since I switched to the strat that I used in that first Igor room, like I've never missed by shooting too high. And recently, it's one of those things I just like overcompensated, because recently I've had a couple times where I've like shot too low, and if you get the bad Popo RNG, you hit him instead of the Igor.
Mhm.
So I was like playing it safe, and I went up higher than normal to shoot the arrow, but I went too high. I don't know what happened on Armos. That was just like I don't even know. My timing was just way off. My counting was my biggest mistake this race. All over the place. I just counted wrong. Like how many times to move over to flute to 6.
Oh.
I had several menus. I'm sure you guys saw that I fluted to 7 on accident trying to go to Meyer. Like
We just thought you wanted to go back to Swamp because you liked it so much.
no, I had a lot of
Nobody
little
likes
things
Swamp.
like that kind of messed me up more than maybe more than it looked like. But
Yeah, your strats it was just really great to see your combination of strats again, Ace. Like, for example, your Cypher strat in Mummy Hellway, and then your Fire Rod shot. I feel like it's an uncommon
Mickey Mummy?
combination that you use.
yeah. So that's funny because I stopped and picked up the fairy just because I had taken an extra hit somewhere already, and that actually messed me up because I like that Fire Rod strat on the Mummy key because it's really not that much slower. Obviously the time lost from the Fire Rod shot is a little bit noticeable, but the room itself, like the way I can do it, I'm like consistently like, I don't know, 10-15 frames slower with my strat, and I usually pick up that extra heart, so it's like I only lose like half a second, maybe a little bit more, but I get a free heart out of it. And I almost screwed up because I went to grab the heart and I was like, oh, I don't need this. I don't want beams.
Yeah. So, will you be grinding NMG more after this race?
Yeah, I still. My sum best is like almost 2 minutes better than my PB, and I definitely can do better. Like this wasn't a great
That makes
run
sense.
really the whole way through. Like I mean my Harrow was really good, my Swamp was really good, but other than that I don't feel like there were any splits that were like outstanding. Most of them weren't that bad, and I still was like pretty much keeping pace. Like, I lost 5 seconds between Agatower and Meyer with just an okay run, so like I know I can do better, especially in Dark World, and I really want to get a 126 and then probably be done for a while at least.
Yeah, I think that'll happen soon.
Yeah, I think you can definitely do it.
Thanks.
Keep at it
Yeah,
for a
I
while.
mean, I've definitely learned a lot. The tournament was a great avenue for that. Like I just watching so many different people that either don't normally run NMG or just I'm not familiar with. Like I've learned a lot of different strats, and several people have come into my streams and I've been practicing and helped me out. Like Fox, you've given me a lot of help, and Kane and Vortex of Doom and a bunch of other people. So it's really been great. And the tournament's been great.
Yeah, really
Yeah.
incredible to see your run through these brackets.
Yeah, I think other than the race against you, Chex, this was the only run. This is like the only one I've had that's over 130. I think you're just bad luck.
Yeah.
That is true. Actually, oh no, I think you lost.
I didn't know.
In groups, you lost to Falcon. I think that was
That's right.
130.
That was like
but
a
yeah, I think
130
other than that,
run.
you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a crazy run, man.
Yeah. Thanks. GG's again, foxlisk on this one, and good luck against.
I think it's the loser
Whoever's
of
next.
Dow and Kaz.
Gotcha.
So that's going to be a
That's
pretty
gonna-
tough one. I don't think that this run is going to be good enough for that. We'll see.
So you'll keep up the practice until then, right, Fox?
Yes, for sure.
Are they playing tonight? Dow versus.
I think so,
us?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're
okay,
playing in
yeah.
2.5 hours.
Nice. So you'll know pretty soon.
Yeah, GG's, both of you.
It
Any
helps when I don't
final
have myself
thoughts?
muted in OBS, and chat can hear me say that match is coming up at 9 p.m. on ZSR main.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I want to thank Ace and Fox for racing. It was actually really fun to watch and commentate for.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
for commentary. Thanks for the restream, and thanks everybody for watching too.
Yeah, shout outs to everyone. Shout outs to Blaine for putting all this together and giving us all these races to play in and watch and stuff. It's been a really good time.
To Blaine.
Okay, well, I guess that's where I'll cut in and rattle off all the things that we do have coming up. We currently have a Twilight Princess Any Percent match going on over on ZSR main, as well as the Ocarina of Time Randomizer Weekly over on ZSR2. Coming up tonight, as I've said, coming up at 9 o'clock on main, we've got more NMG for you if you need that NMG fix. At 10 p.m., we also have the Zelda 2 Randomizer Weekly race, if that's your flavor of the night. Coming up tomorrow, we have the Ocarina of Time Randomizer Weekly EU time at 9 a.m. Eastern. At 2 p.m. Eastern, we've got the Skyward Sword Randomizer... I can words, I promise. Skyward Sword Randomizer 2021 Winter Tournament Grand Finals Game 2. So that is going to be a hype match to watch, Gymnast versus Lepalog. At 3 o'clock, we have the Wind Waker Randomizer bi-weekly tournament settings race, and the tournament settings have now been determined for what the upcoming Season 4 will be played on. So those are finalized, and everybody's going to be racing on those to grind up practice for the tourney coming up, hopefully next month, question mark. Also at 3 p.m. tomorrow, we have Twilight Princess Any Percent Tourney, losers bracket round 4 between Marco and Bewildebeest, and at 3:30, to make sure all 4 ZSR channels are in use, we have the Minish Cap Randomizer weekly race. Tomorrow evening, we are hoping to find commentators for it. The match was just scheduled earlier today. Hopefully we will be showing off another Link to the Past NMG match, losers bracket round 8 between 1UP and Oase. So hopefully we will have that for you tomorrow. And I am now out of things to say, so I will send y'all on your merry way, and we hope to see you back here later this evening. Or, not here on ZSR3, but here on ZSR, the network of channels, at 9 p.m. for the next NMG race. Good night, y'all.